Hey there, Doughboy here, and today on Hardcore Academy we have something special. In honor of reaching 100 subscribers, I would like to tell you all about why I love the Metal Gear Solid series so much. The first time I ever heard about Metal Gear Solid was when one of my friends told me about it. I must have been like 12 years old at the time, and little did I know that this game would become my favorite game of all time. The first time I played it was on a demo disc. I remember that the demo allowed you to play through the first few small areas of the game, and though it is a bit outdated now, back then I was pretty amazed by it, and it instantly clicked with me. I remember playing through the demo dozens of times before I finally got a copy of the actual game. And that is where my love for the Metal Gear saga truly began. I loved the gameplay and the idea of stealthily infiltrating a military outpost in order to stop terrorists. Plus, as a 12-year-old kid, it was pretty fun to be able to sneak up on a guy and break his neck. I was impressed by the deep, military-based story of the game, and its great subject matter and pseudo-history, where it blended real-life history with the story of the game. I had never seen anything like it. It was something very different from other games that were out at the time. The game broke the fourth wall several times, mostly during the fight with Psycho Mantis, the Russian telepath in bondage gear. He would take advantage of the newly released DualShock controller and use his mind to make your controller vibrate. He would read your mind and see other Konami-developed games on your memory card, such as Castlevania. He would even comment on how many times you had saved. During the fight with him, he would even temporarily turn you blind, where the screen would go black and the word Hideo would appear in the corner. At the time, I thought it was pronounced Hideo, and when this happened while my friend and I were playing the game, we freaked out and didn't know what was happening, so we paused the game thinking it broke or something. I was a spoiled kid, so I had a cheap computer and old dial-up internet at the time. There wasn't much to go on back then, but I was able to find out that it was just something that Psycho Mantis does in the fight, and if my friend and I would have just waited a couple seconds, we would have discovered that. And I found out that Hideo was the name of the director of the game, Hideo Kojima. Another cool trick I found out while researching this was a way to make the Mantis fight easier. If you switch the controller from the first port to the second, Psycho Mantis would no longer be able to read your mind, and the fight with him would be much easier. You could also find that out by talking to the Colonel over the codec, but this is how I found out about the trick. And Psycho Mantis wasn't the only creative and awesome character. Every boss character was unique and interesting. They each had their own strengths and weaknesses, and they each had a deep backstory. Along with Psycho Mantis, there was Sniper Wolf, a beautiful Kurdish female sniper, Vulcan Raven, a giant shaman with a big-ass gun, the cyborg ninja Gray Fox, Revolver Ocelot, a gunslinger straight out of a spaghetti western movie, and Liquid Snake, their leader and Solid Snake's brother. Both he and your character were cloned from Big Boss, who was the enemy in the first two Metal Gear games. I didn't know at the time that this game had two prequel games before it, Metal Gear, which was on a Japanese gaming computer called the MSX2, and a dulled-down version of it on the Nintendo, and its sequel, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which at the time was only released on the MSX2 in Japan. America only got Snake's Revenge, which was not a true sequel to the original and was pretty much just a cash grab. Metal Gear Solid affected my life for years to come. My friends and I would talk about it in school, sharing war stories and spreading rumors. Some of them were true, like the tuxedo you can get after beating the game with both endings, but there were also a few false ones. Like I remember one of my friends saying if you beat the game 10 times or something, you can get the Tommy gun weapon. It wasn't true, but I still tried it. But the thing is, I didn't mind playing through that game 10 times. To be honest, over my entire lifetime, I can honestly say that I don't know how many times I've beaten Metal Gear Solid. I kinda lost count somewhere around 68. I loved this game so much that it actually helped me get through some difficult times in my life. At around the time after the game's release, my grandpa got sick and was hospitalized. He passed not too long afterward, and it was this game that helped me through that time. I don't know what it was about it. Just the music and the game's ending just put me at ease. Also within these few years, I got my first girlfriend. I was young and experiencing love for the first time, and you know how those things go. We broke up, and then I experienced my first heartbreak as well. And it was a line from this game that just stuck with me. The scene I'm talking about is very peaceful, showing the wilderness and wildlife of Alaska where the game takes place. And Naomi Hunter, one of your radio contacts, says,
"Mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live."
That one line has helped me through so much in my life, and it has always stuck with me. It was such a deep line, and with the amazing peaceful music and the beautiful imagery of wild Alaska, it was just so relaxing and kind of reaffirming in a sense. And my love for the series didn't stop there. Each and every Metal Gear game has a memory with me. I remember waiting and theorizing for MGS2. I even wrote Metal Gear fanfiction of how I imagined the game to be. Not the perverted kind, just fanfiction. I created new bosses and joined them in with some of the old ones. I created a new Metal Gear. Instead of doing my work like I was supposed to do, I would sometimes spend time in school drawing up concepts for these characters, creating stories in my head of what the next game could possibly be. It was, of course, nothing like I imagined. Who would have thought that Snake wouldn't be the main character, and instead you would be playing as this pretty boy named Raiden? But despite that controversy, I still grew to love the game, as I did with each following entry in the series. The next game in the series, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, took us back to the past, and again we wouldn't be playing as Solid Snake, but instead we would be playing as Big Boss. This game tells the story of how he got that title, and how he was forced to fight and kill his mentor, the boss. She was kind of like a mother figure to him. She was like family. She taught him everything he knew, and he was forced to kill her, only to find out that it was all just a setup, and she was only doing her mission. She was a true patriot, fighting for her country. She gave up her life and went down in history as a traitor in order to prevent all-out nuclear war. She was a true hero, and Big Boss was forced to kill her in order to prevent that nuclear war. This hit me pretty hard back then, and even became the first game to ever actually make me cry. I felt for the characters, and I connected with them. Big Boss was no longer this legendary bad guy. He was human, and after something like that, it's no wonder he went down the path that he did. It was also around this time that I got the chance to play the prequel games for the first time on an emulator on the computer. I know, emulation's bad, I know. But that was followed by the release of MGS3 Subsistence, which had the two games actually on the disc along with it. And even though these games weren't as good as some of the others in the series, I still found them to be pretty damn fun. When MGS Portable Ops came out, I bought a PSP just for that, and played it straight through until I beat it. And staring at a little screen all that time and playing with not so good controls as that game had is not recommended. I then unfortunately sold my PSP before MGS Peace Walker came out, so I didn't get the chance to play that one until long after, when it was released on the Metal Gear Solid HD collection on PS3. After that, it became one of my favorite games in the series. But before that, there was MGS4, which I went out early in the morning, traveled 45 minutes to the nearest store to my little podunk town, which happened to be a Target, and waited for the store to open to buy this game. Then following that, I spent the next 15 hours playing the game non-stop until I beat it. I regret nothing. A lot has happened with me and with the Metal Gear series. More recently, with the release of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, there has been a lot of controversy with Konami. They kicked Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear series, to the curb. He helped make them what they are today, and they just treated him terribly. And because I grew up with his creations, his works of art, I felt attacked as well. I was hurt that Konami would do the things they did, because no one deserves how they treated Kojima. I used to love Konami. Konami was the home of my favorite game franchise, and I will always remember that. But never again will I have faith in Konami. They have made a series of bad decisions, and I am afraid they can never recover from that. I will never buy another game from Konami again. Now that's not to say I will never buy another Konami game, What I mean by that is, if a game from them happens to come out that I want, I will wait and buy it used, so that they don't get my money. But with their obsession with pachinko machines, I don't think that will be anytime soon. But that's a tale for another time. I will always love the Metal Gear series, and I will always remember the joy the games have brought to me. The games have brought me smiles, laughs, tears, rage, peace, fear, and fun. That is why I love the Metal Gear series.